Right, good afternoon, Steamit. Article 61, bringing you some car repairs. And in today's instance, we're going to bring you an insight into how a gearbox works and the engineering that allows it to be such a clever little device. So I've got this gearbox from a Vauxhall Zafira customer whose his gearbox is, all the bearings inside it have gone all gravelly. It's probably because the teeth have broken up and got inside the bearings, or it's run out of oil and he's not refilled it. That can do it. It's dried out and overheated. But anyway, the gearbox is no good, so I've had the old one. So I've done what I've always wanted to do to one of these things, and I've cut it all open. So me, myself, and you can see inside and see how it all works. Okay. So that's pretty much today's post. All right. So let's crack on with it, because I've recorded this video a million times. I've finished it and deleted it off my computer. So now I'm doing it again, and I'm going to do it in one take. Right, this is the clutch side of your gearbox. So imagine your gearbox is here, your engine's there, this bolts to your engine. Engine's spinning at an idling speed of 2,000 revs, let's say, for argument's sake, which is spinning that round there, okay? Now, if you didn't have a clutch inside this gearbox, whenever your engine's spinning, your gearbox would be spinning too all the time. So every time you start your car, it would be like starting it in gear, okay? Or, well, or you'd start your car in neutral, and without a clutch you wouldn't be able to get it in gear, okay, because it'd all be turning and they wouldn't be able to mesh into each other and match the speeds up, okay? So without this clever little clutch device you couldn't do that, and all that does is that normally sits like that. You put your foot pedal down, your clutch pedal down, it pushes this bearing out and it opens the clutch up. There's a plate on the gearbox side and there's a plate on the engine side. In a clutch's natural state, it's got springs inside it which will clamp those two plates together. When those two plates are clamped together, the power from the engine is being transferred through this shaft, which is on this side, is called your spigot shaft, and then it's here as well. This is the other side of it. It's a drive shaft. It's one solid piece of steel, all cast with the gears on it. Now, on top of this, what's missing is what's called the turret housing. Now that sits like so, okay, on top of there, when it isn't all smashed open, which was a joy to do, so we know. Right, now how this works, your gear linkage links onto there, and this just turns left and right and in and out, okay, which is this lever here, okay. Right, so when you go side to side with your gears and you shake it to see if it's neutral, that is you doing, let's see if I can get this to do it, doing that motion, yeah? So when you go from side to side, from reverse to fifth, say, well, when you're shaking it to see if the car's in neutral, that's what you're doing. That's the action that this is doing. It's pushing that lever down. When you go all the way over to reverse, it goes all the way back down to the bottom there, like that, okay? It goes all the way down to the bottom. Now, reason being is because you've got this fork set up here. Now these are called selector forks, selector arms, whatever you want to call them. And as you can see, I think you can see there, let me turn you around this way, there's three separate forks, okay, to move first and second, third and fourth and fifth gear, okay. Now, these arms, as you can see, one at the front, one at the back. The long one that sits in there sits above that. Now when you go all the way over with your gear lever, it pushes that arm right down to the bottom and it sits inside that groove in there, and then you move left and right to push the lever left or right to go into gear, okay. Same with the same principle at the ones at the back. Let me get this so I can show you where it sits. That little peg just sits inside there, and as it moves up and down it selects which one it's going for, and then pushes it left and right to engage the gear, okay. So the left and right action is you actually going forward and backwards on your gear lever. So that's how the gear lever is operated on the top of the gearbox and how it operates the insides of it. So now we can imagine that's there, we can take it away and I'll show you what's going on inside, okay. Right, so this is your main shaft. Now on this main shaft you've got 5 gears. You've got your first gear, second gear, third gear and fourth gear. Now if you notice, these 4 gears here have got what's called synchromesh gearing on it, which means they're angled. Now that allows these to feed themselves in nice and smoothly and give you a smooth gear change. If you've noticed this gear here, the 5th gear here, Now that isn't gear 5. It's not like a solid overdrive gear. What that is, that's just a flat tapered, very basic gear that used to be on all vehicles and all trucks, and they were called crash boxes. And that is your reverse gear that slides over. I'm not sure if you can see that cog underneath there, but underneath there is a cog that's coming over, and it's connecting this wheel here to this wheel here, okay, via a cog underneath there. Now, because the manufacturers don't really give a monkey's about a reverse gear, they give you this basic flat cog, which is why in every car, almost new ones as well, you will get a clunking when you go into reverse, not like you do in any other gear. You've also got, I'll give you a quick tip as well, if your reverse lights go and it's both reverse lights that have gone, and you know it's not the bulb, then it's this one here. This is your reverse sensor. This bar's got a tapered edge on it, and it just, as that slides across to go in gear, it pushes that plunger up and connects the two wires, and that sends the feed over to your reverse lights. Okay, so there's your reverse gear. As I've said, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, but most cars have got 5 gears, yeah? There's gear 5. Okay, this is like your overdrive unit, but I'll show you that later. Okay, so as you can see, you've got 2 shafts as well. You've got your main shaft here with your 4 gears on it, all of different sizes, going up in size. Now imagine this to be like the front cog on your bicycle, yeah? So the faster you want to go on a bike, the bigger the gear gets at the front. Okay, same principle here. This is your back cog. Okay, so this is just, instead of having a chain that connects these two, yeah, these have dog clutches. I'll describe how they work soon. So instead of a chain, we've got dog clutches. Now we've got the back gear here, which is your back wheel of a bicycle. Now to go faster and faster up in your gears on a bicycle, the gears on the back wheel go down in size. Okay, so we all understand that principle, and that's just gear ratios. A big cog on the front, a little cog driving the drive wheel will increase your speed. Okay, now in this particular instance we've got 5 gears to choose from, so I'm going to go through the process of you basically going to work. Alright, so we've done reverse gear, you reversed off your drive, so let's just do that again. So there are, you've selected reverse gear. As you can see, the diff's turning the opposite way to all the gears, so you're going backwards. You've just pulled off your drive. Okay, clutch down, out of gear, going into first. So you'll put your plunger down and you'll go into first, which is this one here. Right, I will show you from this side. Now what you've got here, there's your first gear on your main shaft. That's your main shaft first gear, and this is your first gear for your drive shaft, okay, or your gear shaft, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it a drive shaft. Okay, this is the main gear. Now if you see, it's the biggest gear on this cog here. It's the biggest gear on this drive shaft, which is your back wheel, basically, on a bicycle. Okay, so you've got the smallest gear driving the biggest gear, which gives you the slowest speed coming out of your diff. Alright, now when you select first gear, what's happening is that is going across there. Okay, and you've got basically what's like a jockey wheel here, an independent wheel that is free of the shaft inside. Okay, now, oh sorry, no, that's connected to the shaft inside, should I say. Now the gears on either side of this aren't connected, they're free floating on top of the shaft. Now to connect the solid gear to the gear you want, that gets pushed over and it connects the dog clutch up and connects the gear up. Okay, so now we've got this one that's connected to the main shaft here, and that's now connected our first gear, which is this one here. Okay, and it's connected all those up to the drive shaft here and gear 1 there, which is receiving its power from the engine. So as we know it now, engine's turning 2000 revs, clutch is closed, sending the power through here, through your drive shaft. We've selected gear 1 because we're pulling away from the drive to go to work. Boo. Onto gear 1 there. That's meshed in automatically anyway, but it's free spinning at the moment. Yeah, okay, while we're out of gear, it's free spinning. We're choosing gear 1. Okay, so let me get you some good light on this and I'll show you how it works. And there we go, choosing gear 1. Gear 1 is chosen. Right, so now when we turn this, that gear there that you can see on the very left hand side is now connected to the main shaft. that's running in the middle of this to a gear just under there where my finger is, not this one here, there's one in front of that, a very small one, and that's onto your planet gear of your diff. Oh sorry, of your crown wheel of your diff. So there you go, I'm turning that, so I'm acting like the engine there, sending the power through to gear 1, and we're getting 2,000 revs out of here. With the ratio it turns it down, it sends 2,000 revs into the gearbox, and then for your wheels, let's say you'll be getting 500 revolutions, okay? So 2,000 to 500. So we're getting a 1:4, is it? I think something like that, 1:4 ratio. Okay, so now we're pulled away, and we're just leaving the road, so we're nipping to second gear. So clutch down, out of first, and then we want second gear. So we'll come back down here again, because second gear is on the same arm. First and second are on the same arm there. Okay, so you've got one cog to the left, which is first gear, and then you've got this cog here, which is second gear. Alright, so to engage second, oh sorry, no, that cog there, which is second gear. Okay, so we're now stepping down in size on the back wheel, and we're stepping up in size on the front wheel, because we're going to select this one. So when this arm comes across, because we put the clutch down, we're going into second gear. Okay, so if I can show you that from there, so I'm trying to keep my fingers out of the way so you can see, but there you go, and that's engaged second gear. It's engaged this cog here to this cog here, and it's locked this cog onto the main shaft that runs inside it. Okay, so that's, oh, I've gone into first there, so there you go, so that's there, and we'll look at it from this side. So there's the gear, that's gear 2. There's a slider arm, there's the dog clutch inside, or there's the bearing for it, I'll describe that in a mo. And there you go, we're into gear 2. Okay, so you're pulling away, and you're well on your way to work to do another productive day. Okay, so there we go, just give you another look-see at that. There you go. Now these copper bushers that you see, these are this is all called your dog clutch in here. That's the kind of the name of the whole assembly, I suppose. It's a dog clutch, that's what it is. I'm running out of words. It's getting late. So these copper bushers here, they're a softer metal than what this steel main shaft is made out of. So these are your wear-in parts. So whenever you get a reconditioned gearbox, it's because they've reconditioned and renewed these copper bushers, and keeps everything in line and everything lined up and going in smoothly. When these start to wear and the teeth start to wear, you start to struggle to get in gear. Okay, so that's what they'll change there. So anyway, let's get back to going to work. So gear 2, we're now going into gear 3 because we're pulling off, we're going down the road. So clutch down, out of gear, and then your plunger comes up because you sit your gear lever. Imagine your gear lever in 3rd and 4th position, it sits in the neutral position, which is the middle fork here. So that plunger has gone to the middle fork, so you just push forward the 3rd gear, and there we go, and now we're in 3rd gear. Okay, so you can see the operation of these, you can see how these are operating between each other. In fact, that's a good view for that as well. So there we go, there's 3rd gear. So 3rd gear, first, second, first, second, 3rd. So now we're going for 3rd gear, getting larger on your drive shaft, on your main shaft, sorry, it's getting larger on your main shaft and smaller on your drive shaft. Okay, so we're now going up in gears, the ratios are getting closer to 1:1.